In this video, I'm going to talk about the Special Resident Retirees Visa for the Philippines, so stay tuned. Hey guys, if you checked out my previous video about visa information for the Philippines, I said that I wanted to talk about two of the main categories of visas for the Philippines that you can get and that most people get when they come to the Philippines. The first one being the tourist visa, and the second one being the retirement visa, which is called the Special Resident Retiree Visa, otherwise known as the SRRV. And I made the tourist visa video already, so if you haven't checked that out, I'll throw that up here so you can do so. And this one I want to talk about the Special Resident Retiree Visa, the SRRV. Now, people talk about this one all the time, and I feel like there's information out there, but not enough information. It doesn't go really into detail about the Special Resident Retiree Visa, and sometimes I feel things are left out. So I want to go into great detail about this one so you guys know exactly what it is, exactly who can get what, and so forth. So that's why I'm making this video. Anyway, let's get into it. So first of all, let's talk about some benefits of getting the SRRV. First of all, what does that do for you? Basically, it allows you to stay in the Philippines for an indefinite period of time. You can enter multiple times, so you have multiple entry privileges and exit privileges. You're exempt from the ACR annual report with the Philippines Bureau of Immigration, the ACRI card. You're exempt from custom duties and taxes, importation of household goods and personal effects, and that's up to $7,000 US. Tax from pension and annuities, personal effects such as pension and tax, travel tax. If you've stayed in the Philippines for more than a year, you're exempt from travel tax. Your student visa and study permits. You have access to the Greet and Assist program at some Philippine airports. You have a free subscription to the Philippine Retirement Authority newsletter. There's some discount privileges from the PRA, the Philippine Retirement Authority accredited merchant partners. Free assistance in transactions with some government agencies. You're entitled to PhilHealth, which is insurance in the Philippines. So you're entitled to those benefits and privileges with PhilHealth. So those are some of the benefits of getting the SRRV. Basically, it allows you to stay indefinitely in the Philippines, which is the biggest benefit. Now, there are different options when it comes to getting the SRRV visa. There are different kinds. Basically, there's 3, 4, 5 different kinds that you can get. The first one is called SRRV Smile. So the SRRV Smile is for active, healthy retirees who want to have the SRRV, and they deposit $20,000 US into an accredited bank of the Philippine Retirement Authority. So the SRRV Smile, you just need to deposit 20,000 US dollars into a bank. Now, there's the SRRV Classic. That's the second one. And that one is where you deposit money as an investment. And so the Classic, if you're 50 years old and over and you have a pension, then you deposit 10,000 US dollars if you have a pension. If you don't have a pension, you deposit $20,000. So when you get, so the difference between the SRRV Smile and the SRRV Classic is with the SRRV Classic, you still have to deposit 20,000 US dollars if you're age 50 or above, if you don't have a pension. But with that, you can use that money towards an investment in the Philippines. Now, the investment has to be a condo, basically, a condo minimum. And it has to be worth at least 50,000 US dollars. So you can get a condo. You can't own land or property in the Philippines except for a condo. So when you deposit that $20,000, it can be used towards the condo. Now, the SRRV Smile, when you deposit $20,000 into the bank, it sits in the bank and you can't touch it. And so if you decide to leave the Philippines and you decide to give up your SRRV, then you get that money back with the SRRV Smile. With the Classic, you can use it towards purchase of property or purchase of a condo, and you have to be 50 or above. So it's $10,000 if you have a pension, and for the US, that pension is $800 a month, and you have to be at least 50 years old. So I hope you guys can understand the difference. Basically, they both allow you to stay indefinitely in the Philippines. The SRRV Smile means you have to deposit $20,000 into a bank, and you don't use that towards the purchase of any condo, but you can stay in the Philippines. Now, if you decide to leave and decide, okay, the Philippines isn't for me, then you get the money back. With the SRRV Classic, you deposit $10,000 if you have a pension of $800 a month or more, or you deposit $20,000 if you don't have a pension, and with that you can use the money towards the purchase of a condo in the Philippines. So that's a big difference between the SRRV Smile and the SRRV Classic. Do you want to purchase a condo or not? And you can stay in the Philippines indefinitely. Now, and again, with the Classic, it has to, the property has to be $50,000 or more. Now, and also with the Smile, that $800 is if you're single. If you're a couple, then it's $1,000. Alright, so let's talk about the next one, which is the SRRV Human Touch. That's for people who are ailing. They would need or require medical attention. They have to have a monthly pension of at least $1,500 US, and they have to have a health insurance policy that's accepted in the Philippines. And then they deposit $10,000 is required as a deposit. So if you're ailing, if you have some medical problems and it's $10,000, you have to have $1,500 monthly pension, and you have to have a health insurance policy that can be used in the Philippines. So the fourth one is called the SRRV Courtesy, and that one is for former Filipinos that are 50 years old or above, foreign nationals 50 years old or above, They are retired officers of an international organization that's recognized by the Department of Foreign Affairs, and they have to deposit $1,500 is required. Now, so that's for the SRRV courtesy for former Filipinos 50 years old and above, and officers, former officers that's recognized by the Department of Foreign Affairs. It's $1,500 deposit. Now, they also have the SRRV expanded courtesy, and this one is also for foreign nationals that's 50 years old and above, and they are former members of the armed forces of a foreign country with an agreement with the Philippines government, like the United States. So if you were in the armed forces with the United States that has an agreement with the Philippines, and you're 50 years old or above, then you can get this SRRV expanded courtesy visa. But people keep saying this is only it's only $1,500, but you need to have a monthly pension of $1,000 US, and that is for you, and it also includes 2 dependents. Now, any additional dependent is $15,000 each, unless it's a former Filipino. Children, they have to be legitimate children or adopted, and they have to be below the age of 21 if they're going to join you. So that is for former military. It's, again, $1,500 deposits required, and you have to have a monthly pension of $1,000. So basically, to be required, the basic requirements, to get the SRRV is you have to have a valid passport. It has to have a temporary visitor's visa. You have to do the PRA application form. You have to have a medical clearance. You have to have a police clearance from your country of origin. And if you've been in the Philippines for over 30 days, you need the NBI clearance, National Bureau of Investigation, I think is what it is, from your date of entry. And you have to do, 8 photos that are 2x2. And, of course, you have to deposit the money for the SRRV. Now, let's talk about the fees. There's a one-time processing fee. For the applicant, it's $1,400 to process the SRRV. And if you have a dependent, wife, children, it's $300 each for them. Now, annually, so every year, you also have to pay $360 as an annual fee. That includes you and 2 dependents. And if you're married and you're bringing your dependent, spouse, then you have to have your marriage certificate. If you're bringing your kids as dependents, then you have to bring their birth certificates. And yeah, so basically that's it. So you have the SRRV Smile. To recap, that is just $20,000. 50 years old or above, you can live in the Philippines indefinitely. If you want to get a condo, then you can go the SRRV Classic route, and that's $10,000 if you have $800 in pension a month, 50 years old and above, or $20,000 if you don't have a pension. And with that one, you can use it to buy a condo. And then you have the SRRV Human Touch for people who are, ailing retirees. You have to have a monthly pension of $1,500, health insurance policy, and you have to deposit 10,000 US dollars. The courtesy is for former Filipinos who are officers of an international organization that's recognized by the Department of Foreign Affairs, and that's $1,500 deposit. And then the SRRV expanded courtesy is for foreign nationals who are, members of the armed force with an honorable discharge of foreign countries that has military ties with Philippines or agreement with the Philippine government. And you have to have a monthly pension of $1,000 and a deposit of $1,500. And that includes you and 2 dependents. And, like anything over 2 dependents is $15 or $15,000 each. Except for former Filipinos, and children have to be legitimate, of course, and below 21 years of age. So that's basically about it. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments below. So, I covered the tourist visa, and now I've covered the SRR visa. So next, I want to talk in my next video about, which one is better for coming to the Philippines. So that's going to be my next video that I put out, so be on the lookout for that. If you guys have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I think I covered this one pretty well, maybe 2 or 3 times, but anyway, if you do have any comments or questions, let me know. I will try to get the answer if I don't know. I'll leave a link down below to the Philippines Retirement Authority, so you can check that out. That's where I got all my information from. And thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in another video.